Welcome back to another episode of the Lash Chat Podcast. My name is Yetzbo, known as YCA Lux Lash.
And I'm Andrea, known as It's a Beauty Lux.
And I'm Yoli, known as Lash by Yoli on Instagram.
And we're back!
We're back!
You could
Did you miss us?
Yeah, no, right? We're back! Did you miss us?
This is episode 2.
We're going to be talking about beginner tips and tricks, and we're going to give our own advice from us being beginners on the cons and pros of being a lash artist. And we're going to be answering some questions at the end as well for our little questionnaire that we had on Instagram. And
Should we start with, like, if someone who hasn't even been, like, they're wanting to step into the lash industry, like, what are the first
what's the first
we
steps
would recommend?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of beginners are going to want to know that, like, what's the steps, like, step 1, step 2, step 3, like, what are the rules into getting into the lash industry? That way they know, like, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, what not to do.
What to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we probably can, like, say, like, personal stories, like, how, like, what we did, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I can say, like, some mistakes that I've made as well, like, as a beginner.
Well, because you weren't licensed when you started. You were in school, right? Or were you licensed? Because I know you got licensed from high school, right?
And no, I wasn't licensed. I just got the certification first, and then I got licensed.
So we both took the same, like, route. Like, we took our certification class first. I kind of wanted to step into it before committing to school, because school is a lot of money, a lot of time. That's something I recommend to people that want to.
I think it's better because you kind of feel what it is, because it's not for everybody. There's a lot that even started with us in the class that are not, So I think it's something that for you to jump in and see how you feel, just get a feel of the waters and just see. And then if you like it, if you really want to pursue it, then that's when you're like, okay, it's time to get serious. And then you get into more, invest more into yourself with to get licensed.
Yeah, my biggest tip would be to first take a certification class versus, like, actually going to an esthetician school or cosmetology school, because, like you said, like, you're going to be paying thousands of dollars for an actual school, up to, like, 18,000-20,000, like, let's say. But if you take a certification class first, you're gonna get into it. Yeah, like, the feel of, like, okay, like, I really like to lash, like, this is something I really see myself doing. And then from there on, being like, okay, now I want to get licensed and take an esthetician class, a cosmetology class, or you can do a specialty lash specialty license, which they offer that here in Texas.
So it does vary what state you're in, and like, state to state. In Texas, you do need an esthetician, cosmetology, or a lash specialist license. It does vary state to state, so make sure you're checking your state. Some states don't even require anything. Some states require both license and certification. Some only require certification, so make sure you're checking your state's guidelines.
But for Texas, you definitely need a beat license.
Yes. And then also to touch on base with beginners, and, like, I know this is going to be a question that pops up, is, like, being an at-home lash artist. Because, like, another thing for a beginner, like, most people would start at home, like, taking in your clients, building your clientele, and then once you have a good build-up of clients, then a lot of people move on to a suite or a booth rental, is that what it's called? Yeah, booth rental, or even some people work for, like, a lash studio. It all depends on you and what you want to do. Like, me personally, I'm an at-home lash artist, and I've been an at-home lash artist for, like, 5 years now. But if you want to, well, for Texas, if you want to work from home, there's, like, certain rules that you have to follow, like having your own separate space to work from home. You have to have a restroom with running water. Like, you have to have certain rules that follow, like, with the containers, like, they have to be covered. They have to do this and that.
It still has to follow TDLR.
Yeah, anything that has to follow with TDLR, you have to follow it and have that at your home, because just in case if they go and check up on you, you don't want to fail that and get fined.
You can. People will show up and inspect and, like, make sure you're doing everything accordingly.
I mean, that goes with salon, studio, booth rental, like, working at home. It goes for everything. You have to follow the rules. And, like like I said, you could get fined. So just do your research. And for Texas it's like TDLR. I don't know for other states.
Yeah, TDLR is for Texas. I don't know what other
it's like
licensing
Department of Licensing.
Yeah. Department of Licensing and Regulations. So check that through your own state.
Your own state. Yeah, I think in California you don't need to be licensed, if I'm not mistaken.
I think in Cali you just have to be like certified, like have a class.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I think.
But
don't
do your research. Don't quote us.
Don't quote us.
Yeah.
I think in Washington, because my brother lives over there, I think I did some research. Unless I did it wrong, I think you don't have to have like anything else. But if you're a client, make sure you're doing your research also on the lash artist. Yeah. If it's your friend, if they got like certified or whomever, just because someone's not licensed doesn't mean that they know, or if someone is only certified and not licensed doesn't mean that they don't know how to do lashes, and vice versa. Someone can also be licensed and not know how to do lashes, because you can go to school, take your hours, get your license, and never have touched licenses, and you're allowed by the state to perform lash extensions as a service. So look out for that. Just because someone says that they're licensed doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. And then also don't bash on someone just because they don't have a license. You don't know where they're at in their journey. They could have just been started, and you don't know why they don't have a license yet too. So but just be cautious if they do have a certification, maybe like who they got certified with, because there are people out there who are just handing out certifications too. So just because someone also says they're certified doesn't mean that it was a right training. So do your proper research.
I've seen some that would be like just started doing lashes and literally 3 months or 5 months in, and then they're starting to do training. And it's like,
yeah, no.
And if they're teaching, especially if they are teaching you and doing certifications, make sure they are licensed.
Yeah, because in order for you to give a certification, you're supposed to be licensed. Just an FYI, you can't just teach to teach like that. Just in Texas, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I had to take a whole course on just to teach, but you can teach it just if you're licensed. But the thing is, on your certification, you're supposed to put like you're only teaching your skill. Like your own.
You're not giving state hours. You're not giving instructional, unless you are a licensed instructor. There we go. That is a separate license you can take if you want to go into teaching in school and giving official hours, is getting an instructor's license, but that's after you get licensed from cosmetology, esthetician, or lash specialist.
Yes. So. But like y'all said, do y'all's research, because there's a lot of teachers out there that just do it for the money. They're not really doing it to teach you correctly, because I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, I took a class and it was like $300. Oh my God. And it was like a 1-day training, probably like 4 hours. And well, this is just like a story from like a student. It was literally like 2 spoolies, like a few, like maybe like 5 eye patches, and then like 2 mixed trays, a glue, and then that was it. And like the tweezers, obviously. But she literally taught her within like an hour like how to do a fan, and then had the model for like 3 hours, and that was it.
So I guess that's a red flag to look for into trainings. Is one, to get into the lash industry, it's expensive. Like lashes is, first of all, it's a luxury, so it's gonna be expensive to get into it and learn it.
Schooling is expensive too, like
supplies, good quality supplies. So if you see a course certification for $300, that's already a red flag, because your supplies alone should be
like
about $300.
Yeah. So like my deposit's $300 because all of that goes into your kit.
Exactly. $300. And that's why it's for me, when I do trainings, it's non-refundable, because that's what's going to lock in your supplies. So if you cancel already, purchased all your supplies.
I could literally show receipts of how much a kit is. It's actually like $290 or like $300 basically. Just letting you guys know, that way you don't feel like you're getting scammed. You know? And also touching on based on why it's expensive is because schooling, like you said, it's expensive, but all of our knowledge,
you're investing in yourself.
Literally, you have to make sure you go to somebody that knows every single thing. Their knowledge is what's called, like something about like knowledge is
power.
No, knowledge is power, something like that. Like I don't know, but it's just like you're paying for what you're getting. You get me? Like you have to pay a good penny in order for you to get all.
You're gonna pay what you get for.
Exactly. Yeah, yes. And
like with anything, you pay something, super cheap. You're gonna get
cheap quality.
Quality. You're paying for, and this is your knowledge, and you want to invest in yourself. So.
Like I've probably taken I would say 5-6 classes. I've probably spent over $10,000 on just classes.
Keep investing in yourself. There's always so much.
There's always new techniques.
New styles. You have to keep up with it, because if you don't, that's where the clients go away and go to other people because they want to go with those trending styles. So just you have to keep investing and keep taking classes with multiple people. You don't have to stick with the same person. Just keep that in mind.
Try different things.
Yeah, because I tell my students, I'm I teach a certain style and I'm in technique, and I keep teaching that to my students, but I always tell them feel free to go with other people to do different things, because
there's different styles
for everybody, and then you see what fits you best. And because every single person has their own technique. And for me, I think I'm more of texture and wispy. That's my niche.
Your go-to. Your wispy
and then there's other people who do Russian volume.
The perfect line, mega volumes, a full. I feel I lean more into. Not somewhat wispy, not your definition of wispy, but I feel mine are a little bit more natural, day to day, subtle. I do volumes, full, but my style, what I prefer is not classic. Well, I do classes, but subtle,
more
natural,
everyday look.
And that's you'll go to the lash artist that's gonna best suit you and what look you're wanting.
And going into base with that, there's different teachers for everybody as well.
Everyone has different learning styles too. There's some teachers who like to be a lot more hands-on. There's some people who will sit and read through a manual with you. It's what your teaching style, what you feel, what you learn best doing. Can't talk, can't spoke.
No, but
I can't spoke.
Oh, the coffee's getting
it's kicking in.
But going back into beginners as well, we're talking about classes and whatnot, make sure that they're not just teaching you just lashes. You also have to learn the background of infections, how to clean, how to make sure that you have a good environment around your room, things you actually what kind of cleaning supplies, what kind of tools, or cleaning tools, not cleaning tools, cleaning supplies you need for your tools. All of that is super important, and you have to do your research. So when you're looking for a class or a teacher, make sure that in the description of their class it's saying sanitation, about infections, all of that, because it goes in hand into lashing, and it's super duper important because your lash room and your lash area has to be clean. You have to make sure you're not passing on infections to other people with your tweezers. So all of that information is super duper important.
Because girl, this is your eyes. This is
it's crazy.
Your eyes.
You're literally
literally
your eyes. Around with that.
But I feel this story is super duper good for a story time I have. But I have a client. Well, I have two clients. Right. This client went to me for 2 years. She's a lash artist. I'm not gonna say no names. Okay? No names. But I have one of the clients, and she's a lash artist, and then I have another client. And my client lives on, I'm not going to say what side of San Antonio, but she just lives further away from me. And I told her, hey, I know she was a lash artist, so I told her, go to her to get your lashes done. She's literally 10 minutes from your house, versus me, I'm 30 minutes. So she ended up going to her, and then 2 weeks later comes back to me and crying and sends me photos. And she's like, I have a sty. I've never gotten this sty. I've had lashes for 3 years, blah, blah, blah. Showed me pictures of the eye, and it was super inflamed and infected. Then I asked my client that's a lash artist, and I was like, hey, after your clients, what do you do with your tweezers? She was like, nothing. I just leave them there for the next client. Why?
What?
And I was just you don't spray them down, you don't, or you don't put them on barbicide or anything like that. And she was like, what's barbicide? Or what's because I call it hydrocide, but it's barbicide, right?
Yeah.
And
Barbicide's a brand,
but
it's
that.
We know what I mean.
Yeah. So disinfecting liquid. So she was like, she didn't even know what that was, and I was just shocked. Yeah, and I was like, so you literally don't even wipe them down with Clorox wipes? Nothing. She was
wash them?
No, not even
water.
Wash them. Nothing.
Little.
Yeah, and then yeah, but I was shocked. I was so shocked because I was like, damn, she has a client she's, using them on them. Let's say, for example, you never know if they're dirty or anything. This is why it's important to wash your freaking lashes.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Is she licensed?
No. So then,
see, because that's where school, that's the one thing that school, I mean, in San Antonio wise, I don't know anywhere else, but when you touch about lashes, from my experience, I mean, I went for lash specialist, but esthetician cosmetology, I've heard that you don't really touch on lashes, but what school does teach you is the sanitation.
Yes, and they're big on sanitation. Like, the majority
that's what basically school is
yeah.
making sure you're being
that's
safe,
another
clean.
thing. That's another thing that I think is also very important for school versus a certification class, because in school they honestly really just teach you the importance of sanitation and all of the whole like background of it. You know what I mean? Like sanitizing, being clean, all of that, all the whole testing, all of that is literally all about that. And then the lashing part of it is just, you kind of just touch on it very briefly. So it is really, if you really want to go through, important to do like a class.
Certifications are
more hand-on.
Yeah, certifications are more too. Like Yoli really specializes in spiky, like texture set. So someone's gonna want to go to Yoli to learn that technique, that special.
But
skill.
yes, but even for like lashes, general, I think it would be good if you get your license and then get a class 2, a certification class, because it's more hands-on to doing fans or whatever it is. Because the school is more of like the importance of
the rules,
being on the state, like everything good, being
sanitary.
Good with the state. Sanitary. So sanitation is big. Can't believe she
did that, and I was just kind of like guiding her and telling her like, hey, like, and then she went on and told me, like, that's what I said. She took a $300 class, 1-day class, and that's the student that I was saying, and it was really, really bad. That's why I said do your research, because you can give people eye infections, and then that's the main reason why you're losing clients, because you're not being sanitary.
And then if your state doesn't require a license, please still do your research and study and learn, and going into making sure those certifications. Scary. Whenever you go into certifications, look over what they teach, what they go over. If you're a beginner, you would just want to focus on classics, the application, good technique, take a class on that. If you're a little bit more skilled, you want to get into volume, you want to look for a class that, if you already know classics, you're not going to take a beginner classic course. You want to start going into your next step, maybe a hybrid, an intermediate course. You want to find courses that are best going to suit your needs and what you're wanting to improve on and learn, and vice versa.
I feel like that's a great like other topic of girls always ask me like what class to start off first. Like you said, classics, hybrid, volume. I remember having a student booking an advanced volume with not knowing anything. And that was my mistake for not asking first.
Because you're assuming.
Someone took a volume you wouldn't know.
Yes, but I put it on the description. I guess I just didn't read it, but it's fine. It was my fault for not asking. But
you live and you learn.
Yeah, I'm like, you live and you learn. But for sure, like, you have to take a classic course first. Personally, my opinion, because it teaches you the basics and it teaches you the isolation and all that. The importance. So I would highly suggest to take a classic class first, and then you can take a hybrid,
just for your own well-being, mental health. A lot of people really underestimate like how hard lashes are. People, I don't know about you guys, people see me lashes and they're like, oh, that doesn't seem too hard. Like, it was like, because we've been doing it so long that we make it look easy, but
until they try it though,
and then they try it, and I'm like, here, try it. I'm like, try it.
Yeah. And they're like, what? I'm just like, it's really hard. And you have to have a lot of patience too. This is a job that you need patience, and like, you can't just do it and feel like,
It's crazy though, because like, I feel I'm not a person that has patience at all. I was like, I don't have
I feel like it's helped me learn.
But with lashes, I do.
Yeah.
It was like, I started more like, like as a hobby, and it like made me, it was like good for my mental health. Like, it just makes me like just think of something else. It was good. Yeah. So I was like, I never knew I actually had patience, because I was like, I'm not a patient person. But in this, I am. I don't know.
Yeah, it's because you like it. That's why.
Yeah.
So that you always have patience with that.
I don't know. I've heard different things and people saying lash artists, but genuinely, if you don't have a love or like a passion and genuinely enjoy it, you're gonna
get burnt out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be fun. The money might be good, but you're gonna get tired of it. If you don't have the patience for it, enjoy it, want to learn, invest in yourself, you're only going to get so far, and you're going to learn really quickly that the money isn't just all of it.
Because majority of people, I feel, they're going for the money.
Yeah.
Like as an easy, just
as a quick, on the side. Like, let me.
This to people is like a hobby. To me, it's not a hobby. It's like my full-time job because I love it.
Mine started as a hobby.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, well, let me try it. And I love lashes. So I was like, yeah. So I started as a hobby because it was only like part-time. I was only on the weekends.
Right.
I would do.
Because that's what you could do.
So I started, the more I started doing it, the more I started liking it, and then like turns to something more real. But it starts.
No, it's a full-time job.
It starts.
But it's not like you didn't do it in terms like, oh, this is just gonna be a quick side hustle, like let me quick buck type of thing. But
I didn't.
Because even days that we love, I don't know about you guys, but I love doing lashes, and there's still some days that I'm like tired. I'm like, oh my gosh. So imagine if you don't like doing lashes.
Burnout is real.
Burnout is real. Make sure you balance
there's
yourself.
Some days that you feel
That's
so
another
motivated.
tip. That's another tip for beginners. When I first started, I was trying to get as many clients in. I was going back to back. I did not give myself breaks. Guys, please balance out your clients. Focus on your clients. Take your time. Focus on the quality of your work.
Over time, you'll get faster.
Yes.
That's my biggest tip is like just practice because they'll get better and better. I'm still 5 years in. I take like 2 hours on a full set.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I still take 3. Shoot.
Yeah. Even if they have a lot of lashes.
At the beginning, you could feel a little discouraged because I felt like that at the beginning when I first tried it. I was like, damn it, it's not like it won't stick.
I was taking 3-4 hours on plastic sets.
At the beginning, you might feel a little discouraged, but the more you do it, the more practice, the better you will get.
Yeah, and the timing will go down.
Yeah.
I'm like, especially with fills too. I'm like, I take
and then it's also
30.
better for you to do something with quality than being rushed. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna do this super quick, but what kind of quality are you giving?
Yeah, because you might do like a 30-minute, 40-minute full set, but I know damn sure you're not doing a full set. Like, you're not doing 100% coverage. It's probably like 50 to 60%.
Yeah, but I mean, everything just depends on literally everything. Everything depends on everything. I don't know how to explain
domino effect.
Yeah, like it depends what kind of set, what kind of
Yeah.
But don't feel rushed.
Yeah, and like you said,
take
like
your time.
Burnt out too. Take care of your body and make sure that you are not overworking yourself and not taking care of yourself. Because me, for example, like I worked a lot. And my fingers, every time I do this, it hurts. Every time I do this, it hurts.
No, stretch.
This is of 5 years of not taking care of my body. I haven't gone to a chiropractor.
Wait, is that carpal tunnel?
Carpal tunnel, yeah. So, I don't know if I have
tunnel
it.
Is real.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have it yet, but if the symptoms feel like it.
You know, when you go on Google, you're like,
yes, I'm like self-diagnosing myself. I'm like, what do I have? Yes.
It's like I have a headache. It's gonna be your last one.
It's like you're dying, you're pregnant or something.
You're actually dying.
Yeah, so it's super scary.
Make sure you're taking care of your body. Stretch out,
and
do
your
little
back.
stretches, little rest, stretch. Make sure you invest in a good chair, stool. That was one of my major things. My back pain was ridiculous when I first started, but it's because I had such a bad quality chair that I would sit on. It was just like flat. I recommend for any lash artist, you guys use the saddle chairs.
Oh yeah.
Once you have a certification or your licensing, how you said different routes you can take, either being at home, you can booth rental, work at a studio.
I think we can give, you have a studio, but just your studio, right?
Yeah.
And
but
then
I started off at home as well. And studio currently, but I did start from home. I started, and I had, again, like my own separate room also. So I did start at home, and then I moved into like a room in one of my friends' boutique. She had like rooms back there and stuff. Where there was also another esthetician there, and I started there, and that's when I was like, because I've been wanting to go out to a suite, but I was like, let me see like how it, a feel of it, and so that's when I decided to do it, and the majority of my clients really liked it better, just because I live. Wait, do we say where we?
Security.
I'm like a setting up, but don't say like your address, or like
she's like I live at
yeah.
Sweet number.
Yes, I live where at home. I had my majority of my clients would drive like 30, 40 minutes plus. So when I moved more central, everybody liked it better. And so I was like, okay, so I need to look somewhere around this area where it's more centralized for people. For me, it's like from my home, it's like a good 25-minute drive, but I don't mind it because the majority of my clients just prefer that.
Yeah.
So now I do have a studio, and I really like it because it's I feel like has separate from my home. Pros and cons from home, like it's your convenient in your own home, and I liked it because you're in your own home, you don't have to drive.
Yeah. I don't like driving.
Home, I feel like everybody
woke up and
you just start off, come on in, girl. Let's get lay down. And then now it's like when you go. Wait, oh my god. I get distracted. But also con is that it is your home, so you have these random people going into your home. It could be dangerous, and you don't know. People are crazy, so you just don't know people's intentions.
I would recommend if you are from home. I want to say it's common sense, but don't put your address out, like where you're located. Put the area, put in the request, put it to once you have the appointment booked or the day before. Send it out or day of. Don't just be sending your address out to anyone. People do be showing up.
Like for me, since I'm still working from home, since I'm still working from home, this is like just like little tips that I do. Me, before if somebody books me, I'll you know how you book with your number and whatnot, I'll literally look up the number on Cash App and see the photo of the person, and I'll look them up on Instagram. If their page is public, I'll literally scroll and see who they are.
I used to do it too.
Yeah, because I am a very paranoid person. And another thing, I have a Ring camera in the front of my my front of the doorbell area, and then also just make sure
just be safe.
Just be safe, yeah. But I always text them before the day, to see how they respond. Like, hey, just confirming for for the appointment tomorrow. They're like, yes, I'm so excited, little emojis. So I kind of know they're nice, but if I just get a bad vibe,
you feel the vibe.
I will admit I have canceled some clients because I just feel like the energy and you know what I mean? I just know it's not. Yeah, it's just.
And that's something you can totally do as a lash artist, and that's a pro as a lash artist. And if you are your own boss as a lash artist, you can control your clientele, the type of clients, what area you're in. If you know you're wanting to target a certain geographic, how you said you move, it was a lot more convenient for her clients to be in a certain area, so she moved to where it'd be more convenient, and I'm sure you would attract even more of those clients. So if you know you're wanting to attract a certain type of clientele, or if you do or don't want a certain client, that's a pro of being your own boss as a lash artist, is you have totally control to fire. I like to say fire a client if you're not feeling it out, if they're not respecting your time, if they're not respecting your space, just or in general, your rules, your policies. Don't let yourself get stepped on. But
I think I only had one girl that showed up when I was at home, unexpected. And it was super early. I think it was 9. Well, not super early. It was 9 a.m.
I want my lashes done.
And and I look at my camera. We also have the ring camera thing, and I was like, wait. So this is supposed to be. She never sent her deposit. So if you don't send your deposit, you don't have an appointment.
Because that's something that you both do, right? You guys do deposits. That's something that I guess I automatically require a card on file, so that's how I. Okay, someone's taking it serious. They're gonna give me their card, or I can't see your card, but they're booking it. They're putting their card on file. I send them consent forms. If they don't sign their consent form within a certain amount of time of their appointment request, I don't. Their appointment request. So. If I see I've had history with you before, if you haven't shown up to appointments, if it's just sketch in general, I will decline your appointment. I will send your consent form, and if you don't fill in your card information, if you don't accept it, then sorry.
Yeah. Well, this was back when I was only taking deposits. Now they have to pay the deposit before when booking automatically through the card. But if she didn't send her deposit, I was like, girl, you don't have an appointment. And I sent her a confirmation. She's like, but I'm here from it. I was like, you don't have an appointment. Oh?
Did she get mad?
She was all right. And then she just came booked for another one. And I told her, I was like, well, you just sent a deposit.
Well, that's good that you
Yeah, but she wasn't really mad. Yeah. I never had any.
Because if you have it on your
you have your policy.
That's your policy, and you have to follow it up. A lot of clients
Which I guess sometimes clients might forget, but that's why like before it would be like as soon as you book your appointment, just send it.
Yeah. Or there's actually like websites that, like, for example, I know Acuity and Gloss Genius. I don't know about other ones because I haven't used them, but I know when you're booking, you'll say like pay deposit, put your card on file, and then
that's
they're
so Square, you can put that as an option too.
Yeah. So you could do that for when you're starting off. That way they automatically have a deposit down for their appointment, and then just pay the remaining like whenever they go to their appointment.
Now that's how I have it. So they automatically have to put in a deposit, and but they also have the choice to do only the deposit or pay in full.
Oh yeah.
And I have a few clients that do just pay in full. So they just come in, do, and go.
Yeah.
I have some that do memberships, so they prepay their
that's
like,
good.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're all started from home, and then we all did different routes.
And you can see, like, just from us talking, we all do things slightly different. So maybe you don't like sending a deposit for whatever reason. Maybe you don't like putting a card on file for whatever reason. That could be your make or break on why you're going to book a certain lash artist. So you're going to find what works best for you.
But also understand that paying a deposit is important, and that it's not just like just to do it. Like no, like this is our time.
Yeah.
It's like we're coming in for you, and for you just not to show up, it's kind of like it's a bummer.
That's why I have the card, because if you cancel within 24 hours or reschedule, it's 50% of your fee, because that could have been somebody else's spot.
I feel like people don't really like, how do you say, like they don't realize this is like somebody's real job.
Yeah.
They feel like they just take it as
like sometimes
it's
people
okay,
will
I'll just cancel, or just like last minute
reschedule,
and it's like, girl,
we pay our bills with this last money.
People can like calculate, like, okay, I have this client, like I have X amount of clients coming in this week. That means I'm gonna have X amount of money coming in. I can pay X amount of bills. Some people can calculate that, so it's rude if you don't. Somebody else could have had that spot too, like.
No, sorry, bro. Sorry.
I was like, but
excuse me.
And the reason why we have those deposits or those 50% fees, I feel like people don't understand. It's as an example, like Yoli, hey, you hit me up. Hey, do you have an availability tomorrow at 1? Oh shoot, no, Andrea already has her appointment at 1. Turns out Andrea doesn't show up. Her card declines or didn't send me the deposit. Now I declined Yoli her appointment. I could have had her full set, but I didn't because I thought I was going to do hers. Yeah. Now I missed out on 2 opportunities. So that's
and that's something like that you guys are saying. That's something that I'm actually switching for 2024 is actually putting a card on file.
I'm telling you, I preach it all the time.
Yeah, and I didn't have that. I had it a long time, maybe like in 2022. But I took it off because I had issues with girls like making reports and all that. Or canceling their card, or like it was just like a big issue, so I took it off. But now I'm just gonna bring it back because
what I have it is if it gets declined or if you take it off, I'm refusing service forever until you pay it, or you can decide to like no, you're like I'm never gonna take you as a client, or I have it to where until you pay it, I'm not accepting you. But that goes into into the type of clientele that you try to receive, because as my own experience nowadays, I really don't even worry about clients not even showing up, because I feel like my type of clientele that comes in, they respect it. They know my policies. They're going to show up. And I feel like that's because that's the clientele I've attracted versus when I've had, and I'm going to admit I have more expensive prices, but that's going to attract like high quality clients versus when I've had cheaper, more affordable, whatever prices. That's when I attract more like cheaper clients, the ones that cancel, and it's from actual experiences.
To me, what gets me is like when they say like, oh, they're just like expensive, whatever. I'm like, okay, but girl, don't book.
You know what I love to say when people say like, oh, you're too expensive or your prices are too expensive, I like to say like, make sure to add the like for yourself, because I have clients paying full price, not complaining, and we'll tip on top. So my prices might be too expensive for you. Go find your own. And if you know someone who's gonna charge you cheaper, go ahead.
At your own risk.
At your own risk. Don't come crying to me.
Yeah.
I have a picture I found. Y'all want to see this? Like, it's bad. Like horror story. The lash horror story. It's like clusters.
Oh my god, I have one too.
Yeah, we all have the cluster
stories. It took me like, oh my god, more than an hour to take off, to remove, just to remove.
I have a picture of it.
So many lashes came off.
And they came from where she bald.
Not fully. She had a lot of lashes, but
I have mine too. Mine, the actual lash line is bald from her ripping it off, and it took like an hour.
Yeah, because it took me so long to remove them, and I was just like, oh my god. And I had done this client before, and then I guess it wasn't available where she needed them. She was going on a trip, so she went and got some clusters.
Y'all ready for this?
I was like,
let me see.
Oh my god.
That's exactly how mine looked. My client, and she literally was bald. She had no hair.
I'll blow it up on
That's
there.
$20 freaking lashes from Walmart.
No, she literally, and the funny thing is that this client had messaged me a couple of days before, and she was like, hey, how much do you charge for lashes? I gave her my prices, and then literally like a week later, she calls me, she was like, did you do removals? Can you get me in? Like, crying. And I'm like, get what you paid for. When I asked her how much she paid for it, she paid like $40.
Yeah. The ones that
like 30 minutes.
Or the ones that are at the nail salons, huh?
Yeah.
That's like $40, $60, but that's what you're paying.
Yeah, they literally grab a Q-tip dip it in the glue, and
I've seen so many different,
it's different ways that they do it, and it's so damaging to your natural lashes. But
and your lid, like slowly stuck to your lid, and all your clumps.
And they would know that if they would have taken classes, certification.
And then also, like you guys said, like when people tell you guys like, oh, you're so expensive, blah blah blah. This is a luxury service.
I'm expensive because I know the experience. I've taken the classes, the quality. Like, my prices are the prices because they're that price.
Yeah, and also like you said, like you don't need lashes. You want lashes.
You want.
You're gonna
want, not a need.
Yeah, it's a want, not a need, like you said. And we charge what we're worth. So if we're not in your budget, like, oh wow. You get me?
Yeah.
Like, it's so ugly. I think I had posted something about, like, if you're not in my... Oh, no, I'm not going to say it. But, like, I forgot what... It's fucked up. That's why I don't want to say it. But, like... but, like, just say it. It's because, like, obviously we all started off charging cheaper because we're beginners, right? But obviously, like, now with years, we're going to charge more and more and more because we're faster, our quality's better, our products are better.
Our demand.
Our demand is better.
Are you kidding me? If I was charging, $100 for full sets all the time, I would be booked.
Yeah.
We would all be booked. Like, are you, like...
Because we could also talk about, like, prices.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, beginners, are like, how do you price yourself?
Pricing off,
yeah, because that's super duper important. I feel like that's, like, the number one question of, like, what do I price myself at as a beginner? And then, like, what to do to increase your prices. Because I have a lot of people ask me, like, I don't know when to charge more. I don't know how much to charge more, like, as I go. And I always say, like, for me, every, like, 3 months, if I see improvement and I'm doing a lot better, I would always go, like, $15 more. Or, like, $20 more.
As a beginner, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. And I would suggest to tell your clients, like, hey, you know, I'm thinking of raising my prices because, you know.
Giving a heads
up. It's super duper important.
Don't just surprise them one day, like, oh yeah, I raised my prices $20. Now you.
Yeah, no, just give a heads up always and make sure that you're letting them know, like, hey, you know, like, I'm faster. I'm sure you see the quality. You see like how good your lashes look. People who love your work and what's it called, like, love the service that you give, they're gonna stick with you no matter what. Because I've had clients yeah. I'm like, I started with freaking $60 sets, and now I'm charging $200 per set, and I still have those clients. So just
the people who the people who, oh my gosh,
the people support you,
who value you, who support you, they're gonna stay there. People who don't value and don't want to pay for your work or are gonna complain, those aren't the clients you want.
Yeah. No. So when you raise your prices, you're getting rid of the ones you don't want. Yeah. Honestly.
That's kind of like what it sounds kind of harsh, but raising your prices is a way to fish out the ones who aren't gonna. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So,
but also, like, those loyal clients that I've had for over 5 years, for sure, I'm gonna give them a discount. Like, you get me? Like, not a huge discount because I still have to pay my bills. You get me? But, like, they'll get, like,
you can have, like, I think that goes into where you can offer, like, loyalty programs. Like,
yes, like something that's like a loyalty program. Like you said, like, loyal clients, they're always gonna get appointments with me, like, quicker. They're the ones that are gonna be booking ahead of time. They have priority because they've been with me for so many years, and I just feel like that's something that's super important to do.
Yeah, you get extra, like, benefits when you're as a client. If you respect your lash artist, if you follow their policies, you don't give them issues, we'll give you. I have my policies. I'm pretty strict on my policies, but if I have a client that's been coming to me for years, They never cancel on me. I never have any issues, and life happens, and hey, like, I have to cancel. I'm like, okay, you've been coming for 3 years and you've never canceled on me? You're fine.
It's
like, you're good.
understandable.
But if you have a client that every other appointment, hey, I'm going to run late, hey, I need to cancel, all right, it's not the same level of respecting my time and quality and stuff. So if you respect me, I'm going to respect you, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you earn that. You earn that respect as a client, and vice versa. So I just like too. So.
That was a good topic. I like that one.
Okay.
Like, that was like the prices we did. The other one was like how to like starting off home. The other one was licensing. What would be like another one that we can talk about?
I would recommend for any beginner lash artist is, I'm really not strict on it, but bringing it up, policies is something that people slack on when they start off. It's like, set your policies, set your rules. You're gonna you teach people how you want to be treated. If you teach them that you can cancel on me same day and you're not gonna have any type of consequences, then they're gonna feel like they can cancel on you every day. But if you set your policies, and having your policies written either on your Instagram stories, on your website, on anything, having it down there helps you and protects yourself. If a client shows up like, oh, well, I didn't know, hey, I have it set here, these are my policies, I'm sorry, I have to put this for everyone, and that way it's on there. They don't feel like you're having special treatment with somebody else versus them. So that's something to
as a beginner,
set your policies and stick to them.
Since the beginning, like, as a beginner, I feel like it's something that you struggle at the beginning because you're like, kind of scared.
It's okay.
Because I went through that. At first, I was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry. Oh, it's okay. Whatever.
Me too, honestly.
And like, I wasn't taking deposits as a beginner either. And I had this one girl that she's never had lashes or whatever. I think she had said. And she kept messaging me about it. I was talking to her through it and everything. We had set a date, and she didn't come for that date. And then we set another date. And she said, okay, I think it was a Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. I think it was a Friday at like 6 p.m. or something. And she didn't like show up. And then I texted her and I told her, I was like, hey girl. She said no response, nothing. And then like nothing. So I was like, okay, well, after 15 minutes, like, the appointment's canceled. But she didn't give me a deposit or nothing. Well, turns out I had her on my personal Instagram. I had no idea because I didn't know who this girl was. Yeah. And I had her, and I think she blocked me from she blocked her stories from my Lash business one, so I wouldn't see. But I had her on my personal. I actually had no idea, and I was just like scrolling because she didn't show up. So I was like, bloop, bloop, bloop. And I see her. She was like at the river.
And she just didn't show up at the river. She just didn't show up because she didn't want to.
And I was like, wait, isn't this my client?
You're like, wait.
And I was like, all right, cool. And so as a beginner, you don't really know how to go about it because you're like, she didn't show, whatever. So I just didn't text her back. I think she didn't text me till like Sunday, like over the weekend. And she tells me, she's like, hey girl, my phone died. I was like,
liar.
Wait,
I saw you at the river.
So after, I think I didn't even respond. So I was like, why even? Like,
oh no.
I didn't book her again. I think she messaged me again after that, and I didn't even bother but it's something that
you don't have
as
to
a beginner,
be rude.
You have to know how to enforce your policies for sure.
I don't think you're being mean. You're not being rude.
They're
being rude to you for not respecting your rules and your policies. So,
and just because you're, how to explain it, like, be nice, but don't be too nice.
You don't want to let people step all over you. Like I said, you tell people how you allow them to treat you.
Yeah, because I feel like that was my biggest issue, is being too nice and not saying no. That was like a huge
I feel like as a beginner, everyone struggles on that, and it's gonna take you a while, but
I feel till this point,
it's okay. You'll get used to it. You gotta put your foot down.
Yeah.
And I think it still could be a little difficult either way. I mean, even for us, at least a little bit for me, because I'm very friendly. So I'm just like, girl, it's like,
I'm very understanding. I try to
but I know you have to enforce. But now my majority of my clients, like, I feel like
I don't really have issues with it anymore.
Me either. I was like, I feel like they just know. They're grown people that they.
Yeah. I have clients where if they know, like, if they cancel on me, they're like, hey girl, I have to cancel. I'll send you the 50% fee. Like, I don't even have to struggle with it. They're like, hey, I know there's a cancellation. charge my card or I'll send it to you. Like, I'm
those
like,
are my
thank
favorite
you.
clients.
Those are my favorite clients because you're
value.
avoiding that awkwardness. Like, okay, it's canceled, but like I'm gonna charge your card. But those clients, I love them. It's like, hey, like, because it also shows that they know your policies and they're respecting it. They're,
yeah, they're being nice.
Yeah, those are good clients.
I love that. But if you guys have any like similar stories, or you're like, oh, I relate,
or send stories if you guys have like client stories, or
comment down below
your stories.
And then also just like you said, if you guys enjoy this podcast and you guys feel like, oh, I relate so much to this and that, comment down below and let us know. We like to read all of y'all's comments.
We do.
So just make sure y'all guys stay tuned for the next episode. We're super excited to be talking about all topics of lashing.
All right, well, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening, and send us in any questions, topics you want us to talk about.
Comment below,
suggestions, subscribe,
like.
comment, like, subscribe, tag us if you post us on your story. Let us know what you think. Send us questions. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify.
They'll send it into like an email, like through the Lash Chat.
You can DM us.
So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Videos are dropping every other Tuesday.
Yes.
So just make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And we are super excited to continue with more stories, more advice, more little Lash Chats. So stay tuned.
Bye.